Feast Unlimited proudly presents.
The soup is on today. I'm saying this because Hannah is desperately trying to gobble down some soup next to me.
It's cold.
I'm afraid she's going to spit it out at me because she has spit directly into my mouth before when I made a joke once.
It was so funny. It was worth it.
Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge timeline expanding. Kathleen Kennedy has stepped down as president of Lucasfilm, and the Walt Disney Company has created a new marketing division. We're talking about all that, as well as a recent and revealing Wall Street article on Imagineering that goes into the overblown budget of the Disney Adventure, the scrapping of a Tomorrowland redesign. Hey, what's up with that? And a little bit more. Plus, we're going to share our experience at the 2026 EPCOT International Festival of the Arts. Lots to talk about in today's episode of the Diz Unlimited. I am Rhino. Welcome, everybody. Joining me for this Disney news and discussion today, we've got the soup lady herself. I'm not using the word she used. Hannah,
Starts with an S.
Dreams Unlimited travel agent, Hannah Anderson.
I'm Hannah, and I do, in fact, like soup.
And I do, in fact, have an addiction to soup. We have Diz theme park correspondent Chloe Ferreira.
Hey, howdy, hey.
And yes, I believe Teresa will be joining us next week. For those of you wondering where she is,
Hey, she's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Be glad to have her back. She had a birthday the other day. Happy birthday, Teresa.
Happy birthday.
She saved it in my phone as like her 114th birthday or something like that. So every year it says
She's a
Teresa
space-time
Eccles
traveler.
like 111th birthday, like she's a hobbit or something. Before we get too far into this, I just want to remind everybody that this and everything that we do here is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. They are experts at helping you plan that perfect Disney vacation. When you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip. You help support the channel and all of the content that we produce here, the podcast, the YouTube channels, all of that stuff. DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com for a free, no obligation quote today. It is also brought to you by our Patreon supporters. And if you're looking for another way to support us besides booking a vacation with Dreams, well, that would be our Patreon. We just did our Patreon post show as a pre-show today, just because this episode I thought was going to be a little long and I didn't want to keep people extra long. And just because sometimes we do a pre-show, sometimes we do a post-show. I feel like it gives different perspectives of the day. But that's open to everybody who's in our $5 and up tier. And then you can join in on those live, or you can watch them back later, listen back later, or enjoy the entire years and years worth of content that is on there accessible to those tiers. So again, that is patreon.com/DizUnlimited. Before we get too far into any of our discussions or our news or anything like that, I know that Hannah, you had something about discounts you had wanted to say, maybe bounce back.
Yeah,
I don't know.
just
Something about Tigger. I'm not sure.
Well, you know how they spell Tigger. It's T-I-double-G-R, right?
Is that
Double gut-er.
Gut-er, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't even say that because I messed it up. So I've got a couple of Disney World tips for you. One is don't forget about the bounce back offer. If you stay to Walt Disney World Resort, as long as you book your next stay within 7 days of checking out from the resort, right now it's just for this calendar year, you can get up to 30%, sometimes more, off of your future resort stay. And what I found for a client this morning is even though they are an annual pass holder, the bounce back offer was an even better rate. So you're saving above 30%. I know there are a lot of Disney discounts out there right now, so this is just something to keep in mind. The savings are good, so maybe you come down and you do the 4 nights get 2 free promotion, and then you book a bounce back offer and you're staying at the Animal Kingdom Lodge for like $300 a night. So that's just really great rate. We don't talk about it as often, but something to look into. The best part about that is if you are booked with a Dreams Unlimited travel agent, or you are just like, hey, I've never done it, but I want to book that next vacation with you guys, we can help you book that bounce back rate. All we need is just that reservation number that you just checked out in. So don't forget about that. The savings on that really are some of the best that I've seen. And then I did have one other tip because I went to EPCOT yesterday, and yesterday was Martin Luther King Day, so it was a holiday. Of course, it was busy. But then I also got there, and I was like, wait a second. Why are all these, like, collegiate age kids here wearing medals? And then I was like, there was a cheerleading competition. And so that got me thinking. The park was so crowded yesterday. And it's kind of like a known fact that when the cheerleading and dance competition groups are here, the parks are pretty crowded. So I just want to give you a quick rundown of those dates. So honestly, if you can avoid them, do it. Typically with these groups, they're here on the weekend. So just kind of keep that in mind. Also, these groups typically stay at either the Value Resorts or Coronado Springs. So just kind of keep that in mind also when you're selecting a resort for this time frame. Nothing against them. It's just if you can avoid the crowds, you should do that. So the next one we have coming up is January 30th through February 4th. Then we have February 6th through 8th, March 13th through 14th. We have another competition that's March 14th through 15th. This is one of the big ones. So really March 13th through 15th. It's going to be very busy. April 22nd through 24th. And then there's another competition April 24th through 27th. April 30th through May 30th. May 2nd through 4th. And then May 8th through May 10th. So this is like a lot of dates, guys. I do plan on writing an article about this so you can like look back at these dates easily because it's hard to keep up with all of them. But I mean, just keep in mind, like aside from spring break, you might be thinking this is a quiet time of year. Just remember, we got stuff like President's Day coming up. We got Mardi Gras holiday for people that live in like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. And then you got all these cheerleading dates. So if you're thinking it's a quiet time of year, think again. And then I have another tip for you guys, but I think I'm going to save it for our Festival of the Arts conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, a little teaser.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And if you're somebody looking for that video about the experience or anything like that, well, that is going to be coming out hopefully tomorrow. I only have so many hours in a day, so I didn't get to it, and I will not be overextending or burning myself out this early in the year. So unfortunately, it just takes a little hot second. But I also like to think it's got a little extra panache when you do that. A little extra
slow burn.
Yeah, it comes out a little bit of a better quality. But there's lots of video to have there. But how are all of you today? Because I didn't start it with that. I went right into the discounts and everything.
Yeah.
How's everybody? How y'all doing?
We're doing good. So it's a new week. I went down south this weekend to go visit my family. So that was a change of pace. Weird almost to go down to South Florida versus being in Orlando. But it was a good time. I got to visit my sister and my parents, and my sister got a new house. So that was nice to see. She has like an old renovated 60s home in Palm Beach. So it's really, really cute.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we had a good old-fashioned sleepover just as two girls. So we watched funny videos, and we play Hello Kitty Island Adventure together.
Nice.
Which I learned. Okay, I'm going off topic here. You know the scene in South Park where Butters is like, I'm playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Did you know that existed before Hello Kitty Island Adventure was even a thing?
Wait,
and like,
what?
Sanrio, the game developers say that it's just a coincidence, and I'm like, sure.
No, not with South Park.
It's free marketing. Like,
yeah, no.
I just love that though.
That's
I had
funny.
no idea. It's a cute little game. I'm addicted.
Good for you. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty peaceful weekend. I really didn't leave my house Saturday and Sunday. Sunday I went to H Mart. They have H Mart just opened in Orlando back in December. If you've never been to one, wow, what a journey. I ate a ton of food. I bought so many Korean snacks that I didn't need. I lost too much money on the claw machines. Yeah, it was a great.
She hit the too much. Some people lose it on the craps. Some people lose it on the slots, and unfortunately for her, she lost it on the claws.
I have some questions. I feel like I need to watch some videos about the claw machines because I would like to take a trip to Japan.
Okay, I did actually Google this about
what is
not
the
secret? Japanese one
like
specifically. They are technically rigged.
Yeah, because it doesn't have like enough power to pick it up. It's like
it depends on the setting, but they say it's every like third or fifth time, then it will actually function. So you have to get it on that time. So it could have been wasted if you missed the thing, but if you're not, it's like I read into it because when I was visiting Kim in Milwaukee, when that time she was in the hospital, I was like, we were at a grocery store to get stuff, and there was this like claw machine on the way out, and it was like, I was like, okay, everybody gets $1, and we can try and win Kim something. Okay. And we all did it, and I was just like, how many times we picked up one thing and it had it but dropped it?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm Googling this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense because I know we talked about it, but they have a Stranger Things claw machine with like these cute little keychains. I was like, oh yeah, there was a very cute Destin, and I was like, I'm gonna get it. And I tapped out $10. I was like, okay, girl, like, go get a milk tea and let's go shopping. And then Owen got ticked because we won one thing. It was like it was a squeaky penguin, literally like Wheezy. I mean, he didn't really look like him, but it was kind of like Wheezy from Toy Story. And Owen's like, oh, I wanted the dinosaur. And I was like, you are a spoiled brat. Give me that. So the penguin is now mine. And now he's interested. And I'm like, no, you didn't want him. It's Mama's penguin. So, and then was Epcot yesterday and did more Festival of the Arts, and it was crowded, but it was cold, and I had some good food.
Yeah, I saw you had some food that our friend had. That you went back for the short rib.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't get to try it, and she said it was really good.
Yeah.
So I did write an article about it, but the 2 food items at the Pastoral Palette in Germany, oh my gosh, they are so good. The Black Forest cake, holy cow.
Well, yeah.
I know
mean,
it
we
doesn't
might as
sound
well just talk
exciting.
about it right now since we kind of
Okay.
already dipped
Segue.
into it. But I mean, I'll say what I did. We were at Festival of the Arts. I got there at like 8 a.m. I
Oof.
think was the time I like parked at like 7:55 or something like that. But then like, it was really cool. I got to be see the inside of Communicore Hall. They have the Magic of Disney on Broadway right now, or that might not be the official title, but the Magic of Disney on Broadway in there. But they've got all these like costumes set up. The usage of that space this year is gorgeous. It's absolutely, I think it's a must stop in. I mean, I did a lot of theater when I was younger, and I wanted to major in like theater, special effects makeup, and part of that is you have to learn a lot of theater stuff, but also like I love theater, the production of it. I really wanted to be a production. I wanted to major in film and minor in theater, and everybody was like, no, you can't do that, and so I didn't. But it was really cool because you got to see all these costumes, and like they have like the Sven costume on display from Frozen on Broadway, and that's never been on display before. I think it's the first time it's been on display is here. And they had these really neat like dioramas in there that you could look through. That was like the setup of like how the audience sees and how they design a set. And then my friend Fergie is in the video with the makeup
because he's Beast right
Yeah.
now.
And so it
on
was really cool to
tour.
walk in and be like, so I took a picture and I like text him, and we have a Disney dudes group. It's like me, our friend Nick, and Craig, and I was like, well, look who's on display at Epcot. They finally made it, you know.
Yeah, I hope he gets to come and do the Broadway shows one day. That would be cool. He may be too cool for
Well,
that
I
right
thought
now.
maybe. Well, that was the thing. I was like, I don't know that it's scheduled out, but I can tell you. I mean, I don't know. Fergie, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that is one of his dreams.
Oh
is to-
yeah, well,
to do
wasn't
that,
his
so.
dream like he's like I just want to be one of the
He wants to be in Nemo. Animal
that's
Kingdom.
right. I was
Yeah.
thinking an American. Where are those? Where are
Voices of Liberty?
Voices of Liberty. Yeah.
No, yeah. I think at one point, I think while he was in Hamilton, he was like, I want to go work at Disney World. And we were like, don't do it. But I don't want to speak for him, but. If you go back, we did do a marathon way back when while we were in the pandemic, and Fergie is in one of our videos
that's
doing the redo of the. We did our version of the Carousel of Progress, and he's in that. So
that's fun.
but yeah, that whole area is just really cool. And then they took us above the seas, or above Coral Reef, and we got to see a bunch of different of the actors from Disney on Broadway, which was really good. Broadway. I feel like I always have to say it like in the producers. But yeah, we got treated to a little panel up here, and I just want to double check. I wrote all their names down, but I wrote them in the wrong place for me. I want to make sure I say them right. Because it was one of those. I know we saw people from Aladdin, The Lion King, and Little Mermaid. So it was Adam Jacobs from Aladdin, Isabella McCalla from Aladdin, and then Sierra Burgess from The Little Mermaid, and Jelani Remy from The Lion King. And they talked about like some of their favorite like Disney memories. They talked about because they're performing at the festival, so they talked about what they hope people got from it. And there was a lot of really sweet like sentiment, and it was really interesting to hear their perspective. And I have to tell you, like Jelani was a very excitable person. So he's really funny. So we have a video up of that whole panel that's on our YouTube at youtube.com/@thediz. And it's just like it was really good. It was one of those where like I didn't know what to expect, like who it was going to be, and I'm not as familiar with the cast of the Broadway as they were, and this kind of got me more interested in it. And so
Nice.
you know, I like Googled all of them after, and I was like, oh, really cool. Like some of them have won awards for this stuff, and you know, I think it was Sierra Burgess was talking about because one of the questions was, what's your favorite Disney memory? It was, you know, when it was the Felicia Blake, the ambassador, was asking her, and she was like, well, when I was 6, you know, my family took me here, and, you know, I got really into like this, you know, diving ride and Epcot, this thing. I think she was talking about the
Sea Base Alpha.
Yes, that's what it
Yeah.
was.
Oh, yeah.
And she would be like, and now we're going to dive. And she would like hold her breath and do this thing.
Dive,
But then she
dive.
said her favorite thing is her current memory because her parents brought her there when she was 6, and now she gets to bring them back. And I was like, this
Yeah,
is so
that's
sweet. I'm
cool.
going to get emotional. So
Yeah.
so it was really cool. Definitely check out that video and definitely check out their performances throughout. It changes, the artist changes, but the mix up of all of the
so
songs they're
good.
singing is really cool because they do some gender bending and stuff like that. But
Ooh.
I had a great time. I mean, the weather was nice and chilly when we went to Food and Wine. I thought there isn't anything I feel like I have where I was like, nope, that's gross. Like, don't get
We might
that.
have had one.
That shrimp tempura roll in Japan.
I didn't have that.
You didn't try it?
No.
The cold soggy? Well,
No.
I did.
So
Regrets.
I did not have anything that I regretted, and
Okay.
I feel like I would have more hits than misses.
Wait
but,
a sec. No, what about that wasabi beer also from there?
Oh, that was
Come on.
disgusting. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. There's an article that says go to Goshiki, and I'm questioning that article.
Well, for
you've
the
had everything else, the taiyaki and the wagyu.
taiyaki and
Bun?
the wagyu bun's very good.
I
just came back for
did
it.
you read the article?
No.
Okay.
I just looked
well,
at the pictures.
You should have read it.
I
'cause-
can't read. I can't read. So I did really enjoy that taiyaki though. That was really good. That was definitely one of my favorite
I know,
things.
surprised.
And the bao. It's overpriced, but the
it's fine.
flavors are good. That was good.
I ended up buying like a little art. It was just a little postcard. But we did also meet a bunch of listeners, which was really cool. We had a really nice conversation with Linda, one of our Patreon supporters.
queen. We love
really,
Linda.
She was so nice.
She's
She
so
said some
sweet.
really heartfelt things to me where I was like, you're going to make me cry, Linda. Get out of here.
She was there with her family, and
yeah.
they talked about how they vacation together, and just she was very personable and made me feel good because I forget sometimes people are out there listening.
Well,
We
give us,
love you.
throw me out a highlight for you guys for the festival. I mean, I like seeing the art. Like it's
Yeah.
for me. I said the highlight was like listening. You know, something I got to do a little special, which was listening to the Broadway performers chat
Yeah.
about their experience. What about you guys?
I mean, seeing the art, I just published a new article this morning about like the highlights or favorites that I saw around World Showcase. And I can't wait to go back because especially opening day, it's impossible to see everything that's out. And each of the featured artists usually put out at least one piece of artwork that's, you know, exclusive to the festival for now, or it debuts at the festival. So I saw a couple of good pieces. I'm still on the lookout for some key Muppet pieces. I know we saw one painting that I feel like I've seen before. So last year, the one that stood out to me, it was like this acrylic covered
I remember.
cowboy Kermit with the cowboy boots, and he's standing there in his little lanky
It was
body.
huge, too.
I loved that. Yeah. So I haven't seen that or anything like that this year. So I'm still on the lookout for my perfect piece to pick up this year. But then for food, something that kind of surprised me, I kind of overlooked it every time I've looked at the foodie guide. And I wanted something else from Fictional Victuals, which is like the storybook Alice in Wonderland themed booth near the promenade area. I know I wanted the Earl Grey mousse that's served in the halved chocolate teacup, and which just looked like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory to me. But on the menu, as I'm ordering, I was like, that sounds good too. I just like threw it in, and it ended up being my favorite thing, my favorite at least sweet treat of the day, which was the upside down cake shake. And it's relatively simple. It sounds simple. It's a yellow cake flavoring with black tea, and then they put a whole mini cupcake in it as well. You can also order it alcoholic with a shot of whipped vodka, but I got the non-alcoholic and it was great. I can't wait to go back and try the alternative version. But it's simple, but it just works. It's like a little tea and cake shake, and it was freezing out and I was still enjoying it so much. So that was like my little high note. And I still had some of that left over when we met up with Hannah over at Pop Eats with the croque monsieur
Oh yeah.
sandwich with the tomato soup, and it is the cheese that they use in that sandwich is so creamy. Every bite was so just delicious. And the bread was crisp and the tomato soup was great. That mixed with my cake shake, I was like, this is a weird combination, but this is really good. So
That's what it's all
that was
about.
my little highlight.
What about you?
I feel like for me overall, I was kind of thinking about it. Festival of the Arts to me feels the most accessible of the festivals that they do at Epcot, because while the food is great, and I feel like they've definitely made some strides with that, and some of my favorites are at Festival of the Arts, I think there's so much more to do at this festival. The Broadway performances are a little bit easier to get into as opposed to like Candlelight Processional or some of the like Eat to the Beat or Garden Rocks concert series. So it's nice to be able to like have the opportunity to like go and actually sit down and enjoy that. Also the animation classes that they do, also at the American Gardens Theater, they only do them twice a day. But when I went back the other day, they were drawing Figment. So it's just kind of a chance to like draw some of these like more unique characters. And again, it's like something included in your ticket. I like that there's things you can do that like aren't just about buying things. Like for me, like I haven't bought any art this year. Let me say that again. But being able to just like walk around and enjoy it definitely adds to the atmosphere of Epcot. And then also the magic of Disney Broadway. That is what Camille Core should always be, something like that. So I appreciate that they're like utilizing that space to its full potential. So I like Festival of the Arts because I feel like I can go and experience something a little bit different every time, even if it's not food related, which I feel like even Flower and Garden, I feel like has gotten so food heavy. Whereas like before when they used to have the Wonders of Life Pavilion, it was like they would do more like demonstrations and things like that. So I like getting to experience it, you know, in different ways. But I did want to say something really quick. So Disney's Lorcana is now part of Festival of the Arts. I know nothing about Lorcana, so sorry in advance. However, I was going to try and get into it yesterday when I went, but what I found out was it's a two-step process. So if you are interested in going on, they have the Ink and Find Scavenger Hunt and the Collection Quest. You first have to you have to pick up a festival quest book. Basically the bridge to get to the Odyssey, which is Figment's Inspiration Station. On the left there is a desk, and that's where you pick up the quest book. It's a grab and go type situation. However, the cast members have told me that sells out by 11 a.m. or noon every single day. So if you want to get in on Lorcana, step one, you have to go to this one booth and get your quest book before 11 a.m. Very important. Once you have the quest book, you can then, this is where I got confused. You can then go and get the booster pack of cards, which you can pick up at two locations. You can pick it up inside of Figment's Inspiration Station, aka the Odyssey, or you can pick it up in the Morocco Pavilion. What are they calling that? They're calling it like the Illumineers Club, but yeah, you can go in there.
Isn't that a band?
Yeah.
The Lumineers.
The Lumineers, yes, it is. So you can go in there and pick up the booster pack, but I think you can also go in there and like trade cards, and it's kind of a hangout for people. But anyways, two-step process. Important thing is if this is something you want to do, you need to get to Epcot before 11 a.m. and get that quest book from Future World.
Yes, good
Yeah.
tip to have. Very important. I feel like we should just go into the news. I didn't get to say what I did this weekend, but that's okay. I'm like,
yeah, well,
a little all over the place. No, I was gonna say like from Festival of the Arts, I went. I was there to like 5. I don't remember. It was like almost 6 o'clock. I went home, and then because I had to go to I had met.
Not had to go.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna leave that part out for now.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like there was another Disney-related thing I wanted to bring up, though, that had to do with this,
You did
and now I
something
can't
fun
remember.
Friday night, though.
No.
Okay, all
I don't
right.
want to talk about it. So,
all right.
Okay, we are going to bounce over now to some news that had come out, and one of the bigger news stories. I have these all to kind of go in a segue-ish order. There was a announcement that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge timeline is expanding, but just wait 1 second for all you Walt Disney Worlders out there. You may feel a disturbance in the Force because as of right now, This is only happening at the Disneyland Resort. Beginning April 29th, 2026, visitors of Batuu West, as it's affectionately called in the fandom, will be invited to immerse themselves in different points of the Star Wars saga inside of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland Park, as they never have before, with characters and storylines that capture the heart of what draws guests to this galaxy far, far away. These updates are going to enable you to experience the Galactic Civil War and New Republic, as well as the Age of the Resistance and the First Order. So basically, I think the point that they're making is it's like original movies and beyond. No prequels. Get out of here, you Gungans. So Blackspire Outpost will roll back in time several decades, thoughtfully introducing beloved characters from across the Star Wars timeline, new props and graphics in some areas, musical selections from Star Wars film scores throughout the land, and more. Each area will be brought to life with the same care and attention to detail that the land was originally designed with, masterfully weaving together stories from across time and space in one location. I am reading some from the Disney Parks blog article here. So here is where you're going to find all the different characters in the new saga spanning timeline, so that you can like mentally wrap your force wielding brain around this. Okay. And it seems okay for me, honestly. So Darth Vader's search for Luke Skywalker is going to bring him to Batuu, along with Imperial stormtroopers, so the kind you would see in the original films. Hey. As they seek the elusive Jedi, they may find hints of the Force around the outpost. Luke Skywalker will roam the outpost seeking knowledge of the Force and artifacts related to lightsaber building, kyber crystals, and more. Leia Organa may be spotted near the Millennium Falcon, where she'll recruit travelers and locals to help keep Luke safe. And Han Solo will linger around his prize ship, tempted by the local cantina. These iconic heroes and villains of the Star Wars saga will join familiar faces you may see now in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So, if you didn't know this, they still have Ahsoka Tano meeting out there. The Mandalorian and the Grogu are still going to be a part of this. They're going to be near the marketplace area, which is where they currently kind of come out anyways. R2-D2, he is going to be rolling his way through the land still. They see me rolling. They hating. Really, he can show up anywhere, and it makes sense since he's in all of these movies. So the forested area on the outskirts of Blackspire Outpost, a.k.a. where the entrance to the Rise of the Resistance and the various ships are located, will continue to represent a time inspired by the Age of Resistance. This is where you might find Rey, a pocket full of sunshine. Also, they're adding in some John. I do want to say this really quick, though, actually, before I get into the music. I'm realizing now they don't mention Kylo Ren in here. Or the First Order stormtroopers.
They're moving Kylo Ren to the Disney Visa character experience in Tomorrowland.
Dumb. Kylo Ren should still be a part of this because his uncle is Luke Skywalker, and I feel like he could be like literally Rise of the Force Awakens is about him looking for Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I have.
Wait, dumb question too.
Yeah.
Isn't his ship there?
The Darth Vader, I guess, is coming out of that TIE Echelon. Now, that's the part where I'm like, okay, all this makes sense, except for you built a ship in the back here that is very specifically from the new movies, not from the original.
Yeah. Supposedly they designed that ship to look like it's from the earlier period too. So I guess that's their weird tie-in that they can get away with that.
I mean,
but I feel
that
like
ship is in the movies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm saying like the design of it looks like a classic. They designed it to look like a classic ship, more classic ship. But I feel like they could just put a TIE fighter there and just make it even. But
yeah, it's kind of because Rey's there. What's the whole point of the movie then? We got no villain.
Well,
no
we only have
antagonist.
Rey, and that's why I'm like, why get rid of?
Who is the Resistance?
Also, I feel like Kylo Ren is such a great meet and great character.
Yeah.
With this mask, it's so much easier because you're not always like, that doesn't look like him.
Yeah.
And that's all I could think about is they named all these people, and I'm like, okay, good luck with the Luke and the Han Solo. The Leia, I feel like, might be easier. I don't mean that in a rude way, but I feel like
yeah.
I may be more forgiving of them than I am. Han Solo, I'll be the least forgiving of, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
fair enough. Yeah.
They're also adding in some John Williams classic scores into the areas, pulling themes from the first six films, which is interesting.
Yeah.
No prequels.
Okay.
No, those are the first six films.
Yeah.
no prequels.
Those are the first six films.
Okay.
First as
Chloe,
in what?
the sequel trilogy is the sequel, is the
you're
later
right,
three.
you're right. I
So
got it.
that's
Okay.
what I'm saying is it doesn't make sense because they're using music from the prequels, which means they're using Duel of the Fates.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well.
But interesting that they're not including the sequel trilogy, since I feel like Rey's theme is a pretty iconic piece now in the lore of Star Wars music. It's the best thing to come out of the
right.
the sequel trilogy. It's the bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
She goes down the hill
Yeah.
on a little sled. But I don't
Torn
know.
apart. Ugh.
So, passing through the tunnels of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the iconic main title and Force theme will beckon you to a galaxy far, far away. As you wander through the land, you're going to hear motifs from other classic tracks, including Han Solo and the Princess, the Desert and the Robot Auction, and the Emperor and more. And I'm assuming we will also hear the Imperial March, since that was referenced in this article earlier.
Mama, I'm so back.
And of course, Cantina Band will be heard within Oga's Cantina. In the era of the Galactic Civil War, proprietor Oga Guerra only recently opened this watering hole, which is already becoming a popular spot for intergalactic travelers. I see. So they're throwing the
Wow.
cantina back in time. I mean, it makes sense. I hope we don't lose the
Yeah.
music that already currently plays in there. Like, I hope this is just adding to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's.
think
I don't know that anybody even knows who Oga is. I don't, the average guest,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think it changes
I
anything
do know
to the
who
average
DJ
guest.
Rex is, though.
Yeah.
for
I was going to say, I
sure.
wonder how many people think
Touch
that
that DJ.
DJ Rex is Oga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it's few.
As Batu's history is represented with new storylines, you may notice some updates to buildings and shops throughout the land. So First Order Cargo, this is the gift shop that's right next to the TIE Echelon, it is going to be transforming into the Black Spire Surplus, a military savage operation offering artifacts from across the history of the galaxy, including Imperial and Rebel items from the Galactic Civil War. This also gives them an opportunity to sell a lot more original series stuff that they weren't really selling in here before, which is interesting. But
Yeah, they need to be doing that.
yeah,
Ugh.
as antique shops often do, Doc Undar's Den of Antiquities will display a different array of one-of-a-kind items from its past. The curiosities and artifacts in the shop certainly change with the times. This leads me to believe that they're going to be more obvious with what is on display here, as opposed to the subtle, like, if you know, you know approach. Like, oh, that's the head of the thing that scratches the clothes off of Amidala in Attack of the Clones. Stuff like that. The cat with the teeth. I don't know. But, so I think it's going to be like literal. Like, in your face sort of like stuff.
So
yeah.
weird. Yeah. It's like
And
they should have done it all along.
An earlier generation of the Mubu family will operate Droid Depot, where it will be prototyping the BB style droid. So that
Okay.
explains how we get the BB droid over there still. You can still have that opportunity to purchase and create your own droid companion at the shop. In search for information on lightsabers and the Force, Luke Skywalker will be interested in meeting with Savvy. You may continue to have the opportunity to purchase and build your lightsabers under the guidance of Savvy's gatherers, and that makes me wonder if he's going to have a cameo during the lightsaber building process or
man.
not. I say probably not, but I'm guessing that just means he's going to be loitering in that area.
It's not a bad
there.
idea, though, to keep kind of the longevity of that
Yeah.
experience.
Reshop.
Premium experience.
Yeah.
Experience, yeah.
Seriously, especially in, I guess it doesn't matter. Walt Disney World, it's like almost $300 to build a lightsaber now.
Yeah.
It seems like all the food and drinks are going to stay the same, which makes sense because who knows what they're eating or drinking in the universe. I mean,
Blue milk, got
I'm
it.
sure. Yeah, I was going to say blue milk and the booze, basically. That's all I know. But Disneyland is going to continue their nightly projection show, Shadows of a Memory, a Skywalker Saga. And on select evenings, a.k.a. when there are fireworks in the park, Fire of the Rising Moons will happen. And I'm not sure that one includes projections because it didn't when I saw it. I
does a
still
little
haven't
bit.
seen the projection show yet, though.
I think it just depends on the show for the fireworks. Because when I saw it over Halloween time, it was syncing up to Halloween fireworks. And so they had a lot of the villain music.
Yeah, but
scores,
was there
and
projections?
There was projections of just like silhouettes of like Maul, Vader, Kylo Ren, and like different colors on the rock work. So
Yeah,
it was like
I really want to see the projection show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm really hoping.
you should go this weekend.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like,
yeah,
you got to add it to me.
hey.
list. You
Long
may
list.
you may begin to see these enhancements appear in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland over the next couple of months before they officially debut on April 29th, 2026. But it's a very exciting time. It truly sounds like they're going to give the area the life and energy that it's deserved since day one. I'd still very much like to see more walk-around creatures.
Yes.
Like they originally showed in that concept art. Like not everything has to be main characters. Like I'd love some Jawas roaming around.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Stuff like
Trading.
that. A bounty hunter or two.
Yeah.
I wrote bounty hunter in my script and it changed it to county hunter.
Oh.
And now all I can think about is I'll say it after. But you know, I want it to be a little more like kind of was during Star Wars weekends. At Walt
Oh
Disney
my
World.
gosh. Star Wars weekends for me is I feel like it's like Chloe's Castle Dreamlight. Star Wars every time I go to Hollywood Studios. Well, yeah, it's true. But every time I go, I think, man, you guys should still bring that back. You should bring it back from May the 4th because we'll never get Mickey riding around in a TIE fighter again or hearing the temple music and just like I don't know.
Vader and stormtroopers dancing to Backstreet Boys and Goofy dressed as Darth Vader with his underwear on outside of his pants. Like, what a time to be alive.
I know. And I get that piece of it. I'm like, okay, but this has always been my beef with Galaxy's Edge and honestly kind of Disney Imagineering a little bit as a whole because I'm like, get out of your head. People are coming here on vacation. I don't know what Batu is. I don't care about Batu. I want to go to Endor. I want to go to Kashyyyk. I want to go anywhere but here. Like, I don't know these people. So I'm like, it's a great start. I think it's really going to change the atmosphere. And then obviously we're getting the Mandalorian overlay of Millennium Falcon, which I think is much needed. I'm assuming Disney World, the only reason why we're not getting it yet is because we don't have the talent that the West Coast does. So I feel like it's probably a situational.
They could if they tried.
Yeah,
They could,
I
sure, of course
assume we didn't get the projection show, so which we
Right,
could
which
have
they
also
also
gotten
could have
because I don't
done.
get that because I
Yeah.
thought they were like the same. How much modification would that take?
Right.
So,
Yeah,
and we don't get a lot of the character oriented stuff like they do at
No.
Disneyland because they every time there's a new Marvel movie or show or whatever, they get a temporary meet and greet. We never get any of that stuff. I don't understand because there is the demand for the characters here, but I don't know. It's just. This does really, truly is starting to feel like at first when it was like, oh, well, we got Mandalorian and Grogu, that's fine. Like, it does really feel like we're becoming like I don't like the expression redheaded stepchild, but it does feel like we are becoming
on the
like
back burner.
they're going to just keep doing it at Disneyland and it's going to eventually it's going to be like, okay, well, there's nothing here. Why would I go to this one? I don't know. It just feels like to me, it's kind of like, cool. I mean, I love Disneyland, but I live here, you know, and I'm coming here, and I think this park deserves just as much love.
Also, I gotta tell you, for I think like the casual fan, people are gonna see this news story and assume that it's happening here, and are gonna be sorely disappointed when they show up and there's no Han Solo.
People
Yep.
have always heard
Yep.
that they're identical. You know, they're the
Right.
same lands. And, you know, as fans we've gone several times to each coast. We know the subtle differences, like different foods aren't available over here kind of thing. This just adds to that comparison game, unfortunately. I am very excited for this. I wanted the original trilogy in this land since inception. And I am very, very excited to hear background music in the land because I feel like that was a key component missing from day one, even without the original trilogy infused into it. I always felt like it could just use that extra oomph as you're walking around the land to John Williams music. And I remember he made a special score for like the entrance areas, but you can barely hear it, especially Hollywood Studios. I feel like you can barely hear it in those different entry areas, which is always driving me insane. But so I'm very excited for this. I can only hope it comes to Walt Disney World maybe one day. Hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah. I still would love to see, like, I don't feel like lightsabers are present enough and sort of the
No.
scoundrels or the trading. So, like, that element of Star Wars, I still like still missing a little bit from this land. So I would love to see something like when we did the media event for the opening of Rise of Resistance, they had a lightsaber duel between Rey and Kylo Ren where they like running through the land, like on these things, and they had special things. That should be that should happen. Like that should happen nightly. There
They
should be something.
advertised it that way. It's kind of like the bummer of it all. Like that's what it was supposed to be. The concept art, the way they talked about the land. So it's like, okay, so you told us one thing and then it didn't happen. and now you're surprise changing it. So I'm aggravated if you can't tell.
I
should
just
eat more of my soup. To calm down.
I want them to incorporate the elements of the Star Cruiser that worked very well, like the
Yep.
Jedi training stuff and things like that. I'd love to see that become a part of the land. But
Also, maybe they shouldn't have thrown that away. Maybe they should have done some of this there, and it would have been okay.
I don't think. Yeah, I think.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a whole different thing, but still.
Well, since we are in that galaxy far, far away, I do want to talk about some other big news, which is that Kathleen Kennedy has officially stepped down as president of Lucasfilm. It was expected, it was rumored, and now it is official. Kathleen Kennedy has stepped down after 14 years. Kennedy's retirement is effective as of January 15th, so the day they made the announcement about her stepping down, so it was day and date, which is crazy, and marks a major change to one of the biggest IPs in the world. As part of her exit, she'll continue on as producer of both The Mandalorian and Grogu and Star Wars Starfighter films. Dave Filoni and Lin-Wen Brennan will take over as the new co-presidents of Lucasfilm. Filoni is set to handle the creative direction of the company, which to fanboys delight, I think, because he's basically been very responsible for a lot of the creative storytelling direction of Lucasfilm in the last couple of years. Well, Brennan will handle the business side of things. Filoni and Brennan will report to Disney Entertainment co-chairman Alan Bergman. In a statement, Kennedy says, "When George Lucas asked me to take over Lucasfilm upon his retirement, I couldn't have imagined what lay ahead. It has been a true privilege to spend more than a decade working alongside the extraordinary talent at Lucasfilm. Their creativity and dedication have been an inspiration, and I'm deeply proud of what we've accomplished together. I'm excited to continue developing films and television with both longtime collaborators and fresh voices who represent the future of storytelling." It's expected that with Kennedy's exit, the company will move ahead with more Star Wars projects after being in something of a holding pattern over the last couple of years. Kennedy is expected to continue producing films outside of Lucasfilm, and she does have one of the most incredible resumes of work in Hollywood. She gets a hard time and a lot of hate for her time at Lucasfilm, but I do want to take a second to go over and just explain to you exactly what Kathleen Kennedy has done.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people do give her a lot of flack. And, she's also married to Frank Marshall, who is also one of the most decorated producers in the history of cinema. The two of
I
these
love Frank
people,
Marshall films.
I'm guessing, go lay their head on a diamond bed somewhere. But, okay, I'm scrolling all the way back because I want to start she was a producer on any of these things. Poltergeist, E.T., Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Gremlins, The Goonies, Back to the Future, The Color Purple, The Money Pit, An American Tail, Inner Space, Empire of the Sun, Batteries Not Included, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Land Before Time, Back to the Future Part 2, Joe versus the Volcano, Back to the Future Part 3, Gremlins 2, Arachnophobia, Cape Fear, and Fievel Goes West, Hook, Tiny Toons. She's done Alive, Jurassic Park, We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, hello, Schindler's List, The Flintstones, Bridges Over Madison County, Congo, The Indian in the Cupboard, Balto, Twister, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, The Sixth Sense, AI, Artificial Intelligence, Jurassic Park 3, Signs, Seabiscuit,
Signs.
War of the
Wow.
Worlds, Munich. I'm leaving a bunch out of these too, which is crazy. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
This woman's work ethic.
War Horse, The Adventures of Tintin, Lincoln,
Yeah, wow.
The Force Awakens, obviously, BFG, The Girl on the Train, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. All the Star Wars stuff of recent years. Willow, the TV series. Yeah, so then everything from Lucasfilm, really. So, she is literally the person who has been a producer on the cinema that has shaped your life. A lot of people, millennials or whatever. And so hey man, lighten up. I don't know what to tell you. I feel like she's, doesn't get the credit that she deserves sometimes because some keyboard awful, toxic fandom people didn't like that they made a black stormtrooper or a girl Jedi, and it's just get over yourself sometimes. And I know people are going to be like, "Don't you dare say that's about something else," blah 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 blah. But whatever. That's when it all started. So I hope she does continue to produce because she really has an incredible track record, and I would love to see what she does next. So.
Also, I just think it's a sign of a creative person that she has had her time and she's passing the torch to someone else. I think a lot of people in Hollywood don't know when to move forward, and obviously Lucasfilm is she has made her mark there, and I'm sure it was hard for her to let go, but yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you can't have a record like that and then just be like, oh, I'm just gonna retire. I don't think people like this, she's never gonna go to the golf course, you know.
Oh,
she's
exactly.
Gonna stay
Yeah,
busy until the day she dies.
I have no doubt.
Incredible. Yeah.
Also, I wanted to Google how old she was because she doesn't look old enough to have produced this many things. You know what I
would
mean? And I'm
agree.
like, God, good for you, lady. What? I don't know. I guess that's what money does for you. But like,
Wait, how old is she?
I don't know. I didn't look it
I
up.
thought you
Yeah,
said
that's why I was
23.
just saying it out loud, hoping somebody would pick up on my social cues and Google it.
I
for
thought
me.
you looked it up.
No, it's all right.
I
Yeah.
mean-
72.
Oh, wow.
Holy smokes! I did not think she was 72. I thought she was in her like 60s maybe. But
Yeah, she
good for
looks
her.
great.
I know she's really close with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Frank Marshall is like Steven Spielberg's like main producer, but yeah.
Wow.
Okay, well, the Disney Company has created a new marketing division. This is a really quick story. Marketing division, and has named Asad Ayaz to lead. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I apologize if not. The Walt Disney Company has announced the creation of a new enterprise-wide marketing and brand organization move aimed at better aligning Disney's marketing efforts across its many businesses. As part of this change, longtime Disney executive Asad Ayaz has been named Chief Marketing and Brand Officer of the Walt Disney Company. Disney says the new organization was designed to bring its marketing teams together under a single structure. By doing so, the company hopes to create more consistent messaging, better coordinated campaigns, and a stronger connection with fans worldwide across all its businesses. There's a lot more information about it in the article on WDW Info if you want to read more than that. But I think it's interesting here because I feel like this will be the thing that kind of, you know, sometimes we see Disney on stuff and you're like, how did it get? Who got this brand in bad? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
how'd you get on this
different...
toothbrush? You know, stuff like that.
I don't think this is going to fix us. I think it's just consolidating resources. Like Disney loves to consolidate a marketing department, a creative department, and they are always laying people off, consolidating, reshaping things. But you think about like, so right now, it's a different marketing team that does Disney Cruise Line, that does Walt Disney World, Disneyland. They're all separate. And so when I hear this, I'm thinking more of like, and it already kind of looks this way, but to me that says I'm like, everything's going to start looking the same.
Unified.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, which it kind of already
Synergy.
does, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It just was something that happened. It was big. I didn't want to be like, oh, you didn't talk about it. And we talked about it. And there it is.
Okay, check.
All right. Check. So before we go, I know we're going to end up running a little long probably with this discussion, but there was a Wall Street journal article.
Magical journal.
Yeah, that came out. That was on Imagineering, and it talks about a lot of stuff. Like I feel like I'm just gonna give them the credit. WDWNT, like Walt Disney World News Today, I feel like was the story that gained a lot of traction. That was about the canceled renovation of Tomorrowland that was sort of buried into this article at Disneyland specifically. And then so that got me curious about reading this. And I kind of went back and I was like, oh, there's a lot in here. I know that on our site we had written about there was a Villains Land article that Chloe wrote. And that's really just kind of the last paragraph of this. And then I think there was another article. But there's a lot being said in this. So I was like, let's take a look at this actual article. I do have it in front of me. I'm not going to read like the whole article.
It's long.
Yeah, it's like it is like 6 pages long. It's interesting how much of it is actually true because you know what happens. I feel like when you have somebody that you can tell where you're like, oh, this person probably isn't a Disney fan. They were probably assigned to write about it, so you can sometimes feel that in the language here and there. I don't want to say this article paints what's happening negatively or what has happened this is basically an article about what's happened in the last decade, I feel like, or more with Imagineering. But some of the things, it's called the 3,000 person team working in secret to create Disney Magic is the name of the article. It was published on the Wall Street Journal on January 9th. It was written by Ben Fritz, I believe. And some of the highlights here is that the first thing out of the gate is this thing says, and I'm going to read this little paragraph. Disney executives thought they had made an amazing deal, a partially built cruise ship that its bankrupt owner was willing to unload for just $40 million. They figured it would cost about $1 billion to complete, which is less than half of what the company typically spends to build a new vessel. And then the Imagineers got their hand on it. And it talks about, it explains who the Imagineers are and things like that. But the Justin Newton, a former Imagineer who oversaw some of the retrofit, but it does say in this article, now works at SeaWorld. And
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
it was like,
It's never good.
they said it was like trying to turn a Honda into a Hummer. So I know that it was like a big gambling ship, and so they basically had to stretch out and enlarge a lot of these the common spaces and the auditoriums and the performance areas and stuff like that. But they say the final cost of the ship, now known as the Disney Adventure, is about $1.8 billion. Its launch in Singapore was delayed at the last minute from December to March 2026 to complete the finishing touches, forcing the company to refund and reschedule thousands of reservations, which I'm sure costs a lot of money too. But it does say in this article, the Adventure will be Disney's biggest and most immersive ship, and retrofitting it saved years of work compared with building it from scratch, which is true. I want to say. I don't know the average timeline of building a ship, though. 5, 6 years, 7 years?
I feel like it's about 5 years. But, I mean, granted, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment here. Would Disney actually build a ship like this from the ground up? Because they hadn't before.
This is their largest ship. It's got like
ship.
something like 20-something
It's got 4
decks.
stacks.
Yeah. And it was, I believe it was designed as a gambling ship, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Core out that casino.
But yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. I feel like
because the Adventure comes out in March, I think the more we hear about that is going to be really interesting, because everything we're hearing and just the way they're promoting it and what's going on with the ship now is that it's still behind on schedule. So it's behind on time and money, and I just can't figure this ship out.
So they do say in this article, like I know Bruce Vaughan, I think maybe is quoting here, but they're saying this is by far the most ambitious period in Imagineering history.
I've read that before.
We're going to ramp up and reignite Imagineering culturally, and we've got a tremendous amount of investment coming through. It does go into a lot of about issues with Chapek, which is interesting, about issues that had started with Chapek before he was the CEO. And it was basically like really kind of tightening the purse, making sure that people weren't going under budget and things like that. It does talk about people kind of being whiplashed with that like announcement of the move to Florida and then canceling that when people had already bought like a house here.
That's brutal, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Even for our local economy, I mean, that's completely shaped Lake Nona, where that was supposed to be. Like, it's completely shaped that community and probably the future of it. So it's kind of a bummer.
It does. I do want to say, for those, I know sometimes there's people who are in a camp of Chapek, and then there's in Iger. It does say in here, I'm going to read this little part. It says there in relation to the Imagineers, prized autonomy took a hit after Bob Iger became Disney CEO in 2005. His mandate for parks was the same as for movies: focus on franchises, whether from the company's vaults or his acquisitions of Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. Movie characters have been a part of the park since Disneyland opened, but Imagineering also has a rich history of creating original stories and attractions like Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, and Jungle Cruise that largely stopped by the 2010s. At every hands-on meeting, I would be asked if we got to create new Imagineering original stories again, said Barbara Buza, who was president of WDI from 2020 to 2024 and is now an executive at architecture firm Canon Design. From the late 2000s through the 2010s, Imagineers built a new Cars Land at California Adventure, opened a new theme park in Shanghai, and designed new lands in the U.S. based on Star Wars and Avatar. It says that all were successful with fans and none went according to plan, said people with knowledge of the matter. We all know, I feel like when I started with the Diz, it was like 2015. I started. I mean, it technically started at the end of 2014, but and the big thing then was always saying, thanks, Shanghai. And I worked at Disney when Shanghai was happening, and that park opened a year later than it was supposed to. But it also, it was like it cost twice as much to build it than they thought. And I remember they sent a lot of people over here to train everybody over there and a thing.
Yeah.
It was basically like, you guys, there were no hours to be worked. Everything got like nipped in the bud. It was crazy how scarce even like $1 was at Disney.
I remember all of that, especially like the Instagram community was really vocal about New Fantasyland being cut back because of #Things Shanghai, because the concept art was very different from what we actually received. And then I remember seeing a lot of cast members that worked over here being planted over in Shanghai, and yeah, that's wild times.
I do see a comment in the chat. Thank you for being here, live chat, about Rhodey coming out and disagreeing with this article. Though I did see Joe Rhodey say that and stuff, but some things I'm like, whether it's completely, there's some truths in some things. I feel
well, the thing that he pointed out was like pretty specific. It was just that they were saying that basically the article is saying that purposefully they are giving a smaller number and then giving this over budget number, like kind of is like a, I don't know, like a psychology thing. Like they were kind of romanticizing that. And I guess he was saying that only happened one time in his career. That's not actually how it goes for them. That like basically just trying to say them going over budget is not intentional. So it was like a very kind of all the points made, that was the least one that like really caught my attention. Also, I was kind of like, well, who cares? You went over budget. You know,
well,
like, all right, like who's really bad at budgets then? I don't know.
the article calls it progressive seduction.
Yes.
Yeah. To get approval for a project at a smaller scale and then suggest one seemingly small improvement at a time until it was big. But I don't know.
I mean, I know there's external factors, and Joe Rhodey mentions that. Like, obviously, you can't account for like all of your materials and external contractors that you use, but you're like, still, you know what I mean? I mean, we're talking about going over by like billions of dollars.
I know. I'm talking when a theme park is twice as much as what it originally was aimed at. That's a big deal for a company because you're already in it. You can't back out at that point.
Right. Exactly.
But then sometimes that I feel like when we get into motions like that, that's what happens with like Star Cruiser. You know, like it's stuff like that, and then they pull back in a way where it's like, well, now you shouldn't even done it. Like,
right. If you're gonna do it,
I love the Star Cruiser experience. I wish it had really gone all the way in. You know, and again, I feel like there's a lot of technology that'll never see the light of day that was used in there. It was really cool, like the bridge stuff, the training stuff with the Jedi, you know, the Force Gardens, all that stuff. But what I do think is interesting in this article too, again, another thing it revealed: a Millennium Falcon ride in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was designed with 5 different missions, but opened with only one due to budget and time constraints. And I really feel like that is one of the negative things I feel like with that ride is I thought it was going to change. I thought it was going to be randomized. I mean, now we'll have 2, but I'm just like, I don't know. So there's a weird angle to this article. I do feel like it's sort of presenting negatively, but it's really just telling the journey of a project about being like, yes, we start a project and we're going to say it cost $1 million. And then sometimes it ends up costing $2 million. But then somewhere in the article too, it talks about, I forgot who it says like 93% of Imagineering projects come in under budget. And so, but it's these ones that get sort of the blown out or you know, but
then you have outliers like the Adventure and you're like, cool, so it's only 93%, but like the actual dollars are billions. Great. You know, like the percentage is irrelevant if you just, you know, spend an extra $1 billion.
Yeah, it's interesting. Russell, who co-ran WDI with Vaughn from 2007 through 2016, said there was healthy debates over whether to measure this group's work more based on design and construction costs or the value of its creations, in the long term. Imagineers, of course, preferred the latter metric. When Bob Chapek took over Disney Parks business in 2015, he focused intensely on getting Imagineers to stick to budgets and schedules. He believed WDI had been allowed to operate without the same discipline required of the rest of the company, said people with knowledge of the matter. It was a huge, and for many Imagineers, unwelcome cultural shock. Chapek, who was Disney CEO from 2020 to 2022, replaced Vaughn and Russell with another veteran Imagineer, Bob Weiss, and brought in new people to manage costs. Senior financial executives were visiting WDI daily, sitting down to approve or disapprove budget items, even tiny ones, line by line, Weiss wrote in his memoir, Dream Chasing. That seems awful.
Bob Weiss is a good guy.
Yeah. Imagineers Imagineering's size ballooned and contracted. Oh, I see the sentence. Imagineering's size ballooned and contracted, like big, small, big, small over the years, depending on how much work there was to do. After Shanghai opened, the company lost many veteran designers after it offered buyouts to Imagineers who had been there for at least 20 years. I didn't know that happened. That's crazy. Because I guess I wasn't like in tune to this sort of stuff around that time. But yeah. This one was crazy. Proposals by Imagineers to refurbish Disneyland's aging Tomorrowland were also turned down, as executives calculated it wouldn't do enough to increase attendance.
How did they think? 'Cause it wasn't a whole lot of IP, or
I'm guessing the proposal was probably like, let's get rid of this track that's overhead here that doesn't actually do anything, so we can end that debate, or do this, or maybe it was, let's bring back that track and figure out a way. But it probably, because like you said, it wasn't IP, and it probably wasn't anything that was like an e-ticket, right? And it was probably just like, it's what I talk about with our Galaxy's Edge. It's like the maintenance. You have to maintain. You can't just like paint without like fixing.
I had heard, I mean, this is all hearsay, but I remember it was 2D23s ago when they were supposed to announce this Tomorrowland project. I had known someone that was like, knew from the inside that this was going to be announced, where they were actually going to do a Tron type ride that came out near where the old Carousel of Progress is, and it used the old track. They were going to reinforce it, and it was going to go around Tomorrowland. So it was going to be like a fast, kind of like Rocket Rods, I guess. And they were also going to do something with the Magic Eye Theater next to Space Mountain, which still sits empty today. So I don't know, both of those, I mean, IP or not, like Disneyland, especially like their demographic out there are locals, and the locals occupy that park and spend a lot of money there. And of course you have, you know, vacationers as well. So I don't understand how that could just be ruled off the table, as people would be uninterested in a land's reinvigoration. You know, I mean, Star Tours is still there, which I hope Star Tours lasts forever on both coasts, but like Disneyland also has Galaxy's Edge.
Chloe's kiss of death.
I know. I swear.
Yeah,
Girl,
seriously.
say goodbye. You just
I refuse.
You just jinxed it.
No, I did not.
I know. Okay. But maybe.
So anyways, I was just really surprised to see that was just pushed aside. I hope that, you know, because it's years later and Bruce Vaughan is back, and they are interested in doing something with Tomorrowland again there, because that is the one land that does need help at Disneyland.
Okay, you know what's fascinating, though? The Disneyland Handcrafted documentary, they talk about when they were building Tomorrowland, that was like the last land to get completed, and basically they were like, meh, we don't like.
They were like, it won't have anything, and they're like, just open it.
Yeah, they're like, so it's just like, what is, I guess, like the idea of like the future is just too hard. Like, I don't know, they can't figure out, is it retro future? Is it like, I don't know, the future that never will be.
You just said it. I mean, Disneyland's investment currently in the resort is into this like establishing this like sort of retro futurism aesthetic. It's very mid-century modern being permeated like throughout the revitalization of downtown Disney. And so I feel like it's like, okay, well, we get this one little part over here. You got a giant building that's got, you know, nothing in it, or something in it. I don't know, DVC lounge or whatever the heck it is. But it had an Iron Man meet and greet when I first went there. With like Avengers stuff now, and then I had the launch bay, and now it's like, what is it? Nothing.
Kylo Ren.
Like,
Oh, geez.
I guess, yeah. But it is. But I will say on the upside of this, because I feel like we've been highlighting the negative things. It says that in the winter of 2023, soon after Iger returned as CEO, Disney Experiences chairman Josh D'Amaro asked Vaughn to lunch at a seafood restaurant near the beach in Orange County. The ex-Imagineer thought he would be providing advice to former colleague, but the conversation shifted to the plan to nearly double investment in parks, cruise ships, and related technology to $60 billion over the next decade, which is twice as much as they'd invested in the decade prior.
They wanted him back.
So that's a big deal. Well, for the amount of money being invested into those experiences. I mean, it's very clear to me that Disney does see that those things are the future of their income, like are the thing to invest into. So, we'll see how that goes too, but.
Well, I mean, I will say, like, at Disney World, like, we're getting some love for like Big Thunder Mountain, and even though I know it's Nyarby's favorite, but like they put love into Country Bears. Like they have put money into things that aren't e-ticket or they're just updating them, which I appreciate. So I feel like we're starting to see a little bit of that in ways I don't think I've seen in at least a decade. So I believe it. I trust you, Josh Tomorrow, a little bit. I'm on the fence, but
well, so I'm just going to get to the end of this little bit of this end here. It says WDI is designing robots based on Star Wars and Frozen that can roam park grounds.
We like that.
And projection technology that changes audio-electronic characters' expressions with light. We saw that with like the Bruce Willis looking thing. Yeah, it's using video game engines to move digital assets from films into rides, including a second mission on the Millennium Falcon ride.
Yep, good.
Which will be based on this May's Mandalorian and the Grogu film. It's building an internal artificial intelligence tool that accumulates 73 years of research and design work for Imagineers to draw on when doing new work. I don't know about that. Be careful. Some Imagineers say that they're most excited about is Villains Land, an expansion of Orlando's Magic Kingdom currently under construction. Though it will feature characters from Snow White, Peter Pan, and Aladdin, it's not based on a specific film. That makes it the closest thing to an original land in Disney's U.S. parks in 25 years. Hello, Galaxy's Edge is honking the door. Like, beep, beep, I'm sitting right out here. I'm not based on anything pre-existing in that same way either. I feel rude. Feels rude to say that right here. So I'm like, I don't know. But
oh, yeah, we forget about you.
I don't know. Maybe it's about how they're going about designing it and stuff like that. But
you know what's also weird about that I'm a little confused by is that Cars Land is Piston Peak. That's not in a movie. That's an original.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's based on planes, isn't it? I thought Piston Peak was in planes.
I mean, okay.
That was the whole.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know what you're saying, but like,
yeah, I guess technically that's a place. Okay, now I need to go watch Planes, the critically acclaimed.
I know how much you love that Dane Cook.
Oh boy.
I think it's just different for that though too, because we're used to seeing Route 66 and Carpenter Crown and all that. So like to have a new one based on a plains map is just okay.
Yeah.
Replacing Liberty Square or the river. Yeah. Anyways.
Not Liberty Square, just the Rivers of America.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I was starting to say the Liberty Square Riverboat, and I forgot the name of Rivers of America. But yeah,
they paved
already
rivers to put
they
up.
paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
That one
Will that be the
scene
song
from
that plays when we go in?
Yeah, that's perfect.
On Disney
yeah, but so interesting. You can check out that article at the Wall Street Journal if you'd like to read the entire thing.
It's very interesting.
Even though like some of it you're like, oh, I don't know if this person knew what it was and they're trying to explain Imagineering, but they were also kind of like into the weird. They were like, hey, isn't this crazy? So it was all of that like money.
I like seeing those numbers because numbers don't lie. So I feel like if you take away anything from that, you can be like, wow, that's a lot of money. No wonder stuff's expensive.
Yeah, no
in
kidding.
The parks. Yeesh.
I know. Like, well, and my friend was telling me she has a toddler, and
I've heard of them.
they don't have their child is under a certain age to be able to go to a park still. But when they were at the park the other day, people with iPads, every time a kid went through, they were like, when's their birthday?
Oh.
And they were entering it into a system under their annual pass. And I was like, they're line by lining people to get track of your children to be like, oh, it says here that you have a kid. I'd be like, I'd make up a different birthday every time I'm in there.
Oh, yeah.
Also, none of your business. But I get it at the same time where you're like, man, nickel and diming a 3-year-old. Great.
Yeah.
We're on our way.
That happened to me at Disneyland. Owen was 2.5. But he's always been a little on the taller side. And this is at Disneyland. She was like, are you sure? And I was like, well, I gave birth to him on so-and-so date. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it was like we were at a standoff. And I was like, I literally at one point was like, well, ma'am, I didn't bring his passport or his birth certificate, but I can show you a timestamp photo. And she just let me go. But it was just like, oh, wow. Okay. Like, sorry. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, don't worry, you get my money. It's okay. I'm gonna go buy a corn dog right now. It's all good. Calm down.
$50 later.
Yeah.
Also,
don't worry, ma'am.
In the chat, I see here, Planes was in Prop Wash Junction, and the sequel was in Piston Peak National Park.
Even better.
Yeah. Woohoo! Disney World's the best. Yeah.
Direct DVD sequel.
Yeah.
Was the first Planes in theaters?
No, none of them were, I don't think.
Okay.
Pretty sure. I don't know. I would double check too because I don't know that Piston Peak. I don't know that it is actually the Piston Peak from that or not.
But also, I'm confused because that's kind of dumb to me. Because like planes, I mean, Lightning McQueen is Lightning McQueen in planes.
No, girl.
So then
It's like
shoot.
there's no birds in Zootopia.
Oh, okay. Good Lord.
It was initially intended to be released as a direct-to-video film, but was instead released theatrically August 2013.
To everyone's
Generally
disappointment.
negative reviews from critics and grossed $240 million against a $50 million budget. Still made money.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go watch both.
Well, I'm going to land this plane right now
Oh,
because that's it. We talked about all that stuff. Hey, there's a new version of Gideon's coming to Disney Springs. We didn't talk about that, but I had that
savory.
asterisk in
Six
here.
Ravens.
I just couldn't find my intro into that. If you want to learn more about that, well, then you can go right over to www.info.com where you can read more and different things over there. It's a completely different biosphere. Biome? What do they call them in Zootopia? Biomes?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
biomes.
biome.
Yeah. What biome is this? Tundra town?
I don't know, but
Is
the
it Tundra
temperature
town?
dropped like 5 degrees in the last like 2 minutes. I felt it all of a sudden. So I don't know
Yeah.
what just happened. But I like being cold because I can put on more clothes. I can't take more off.
It also keeps
we've
you
had
alive.
that
Whoa.
conversation.
Oh, boy.
I think you've tempted the fates.
Well, I want to say thank you to everybody who came and joined us live. Thank you to everybody who listens back later. If you are watching this live, please hit that thumbs up button. That would really help us out a lot. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. You get notified whenever we upload or publish any sort of new content. And leave us some, maybe some future video suggestions, future conversation topics, places you want to see us go for the dining shows, etc. If you are listening to this, please rate and review this podcast wherever you consume that. And if you want to reach out and chat more, well, you can send an email to podcast@disunlimited.com. That is going to do it for us. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here, and we will be back with another episode soon. Bye.